So this might be the hardest thing I have ever built in Cities Skylines 2, and honestly, it might even be arguable Cities Skylines. It came out so good. Heyo and welcome to another episode of Pine Harbor County, where we will be using and abusing the operating district mechanic that was introduced in Cities Skylines 2. But not today. Today we are actually going to be implementing some of the builds that you, the viewers, have suggested, and yeah, I'm kind of wicked excited to do this episode. If you have been following along in the community board on the channel, you will have noticed that the top two suggested idea winners were a man-made canal and a botanical garden. And that is what we are actually going to be building today. We will also be discussing some of the future builds and goals for Pine Harbor County, so make sure to watch the entire episode or use the chapter markers below to watch the part you were most excited to see. Alrighty, so since I am predicting this to be one very chunky episode, let's not dawdle and let's jump right on into building. So our first build will be a man-made canal, which was suggested by Alexander Wells. I want to begin by repositioning our Interstate 5 here. And I want to start by actually bringing it above ground here. And also redoing the interchange right here. Yeah, the interchange here. That I think we made this back in episode like 13 or something like that. And I want to do this because I want to try, and the key word is try, to actually get some ship pathing underneath. So this is where the canal will be, and I want to try and connect that. Whether I'll be successful or not is a great question, so stay tuned. But I think it's going to make this area really nice. I think it's going to add a whole lot of chunk to this area. And just really raise the elevation and the heights here. And yeah, it's going to be a bit of a beast, that's for sure. Now, before we can do that, we should probably pause the game as the simulation runs slow, and I don't want to risk a long-term disruption of the mechanics. And I want to start by drawing in our canal. Now, I've watched a few different videos on this, and I think the easiest way thus far is to level out an area with land and then draw in the roads with quay walls. Then we will flood the area. I know I want to keep this as a more narrow passage, so we shouldn't need too big of a terrain brush, and we should be able to probably work it in with some of the parallel roads. So yeah, let's dig in and tear up some soil and then flood it. All right, so next I want to start reconnecting everything, and I'm going to rename a few things as well. And I'm hoping this will make a lot more sense why I am renaming it, once maybe we get the ability to rename roads the same way we used to in City Skylines 2. But what I want to do is this right here, I want to take this Interstate 5 and start it here. Right now, it actually runs right through Pinecrest Junction. And I'm going to switch that up with how Interstate 3 works. So right now, Interstate 3 starts here and continues off the map. And Interstate 5 goes through the map. We're going to reverse it. Interstate 5 is going to start here and go off the map towards Amarillo, which is a build I'm planning for the future. And Interstate 3 is actually going to run through the map itself. If you're wondering why I'm renaming this, it's because in the USA, how would be the best way to word this? In the USA, low-numbered interstates typically go through the cities more often. So I-3 will actually go through the heart of two cities on our map, Bunyan's Rest and Pinecrest Junction. So to me, it seems more fitting that Interstate 3 is the bigger highway. But let me know down in the comments what you think. And yeah, let's jump on into a time lapse of reconnecting everything. And we're going to do a few things with this time lapse. We're going to connect the highways, connect the couplet system, connect actually some of our infrastructure like our train stations, and actually add in a little bit of subway connection. And yeah, hopefully build a double trumpet interchange. So yeah, stay tuned. I caused chaos. I created havoc. But yeah, what does everyone think of the build? Let me know down in your comments. I obviously impulse built a lot of things and changed a lot of things. So instead of a double trumpet, I actually just kind of cleaned this up to be a singular trumpet. I'll probably put some buildings in the middle here if I can fit them, and a nice variety of chunky tall ones right in here. And the couplet system's now complete. It will come up this way. The one thing I did have to do, before I forget to mention it, the shipways were a fail. I couldn't get everything through and over the canal, and I wanted to prioritize all of this over the shipway. So while I'm a little bummed that we won't be connecting Amarilla with a shipping path, it is what it is. I'm sorry, guys. I was not able to get it to go through. We were going to run into all sorts of havoc, and I just couldn't get it to be done. So I do like how this turned out. This is probably going to become one of my new favorite shots here in the city. And yeah, let me know what you think down in the comments below. All right, so the second place winner for the viewer suggested poll was a botanical garden. And I'm wicked excited for this, as I haven't really done a lot of garden builds since Cities Skylines 2 came out. So I would say I have visited about 2 botanical gardens to memory, and they include the one in Omaha, Nebraska, and another one up in Montreal, Canada. Something I really liked about both gardens is that they had a few designated flower beds, whether that was a rose garden, a geologically themed garden, or an indoor greenhouse, and I'm going to try my best to simulate that. So the first asset I am going to place down is the actual botanical garden located here in the tourism tab of the Parks and Recreation. It kind of just makes sense. It's going to attract tourists for us, and it's going to provide plus 100 outdoor recreation. So I don't know, it seems silly to me not to add it. So what I'm gonna do is actually start by probably grabbing an alleyway here. Fix my snapping a little bit now that I've pinned my height. Now that I'm done with the causing havoc from our infrastructure build just now. So let's draw that in. And should we get a roundabout? I'll let you guys decide if we put a roundabout here. Let me know down in the comments if you think we should have a roundabout. What I do think we should have, though, is a nice old 6-lane road, and I'm gonna do my best to keep this straight. Yeah, see, now I feel like we need a roundabout here, but we'll leave it as that. And then let's actually plop in, I want to see what the botanical garden looks like, because I think I want to add a little bit of parking to it. Probably unnecessary to have this much parking, but you know what? It's not... You know, I lowered the taxes and we're still doing great on money. So, with that said, let's raise that good old parking fee up here. And I think that's how we will construct the botanical garden. Still interested if you guys want a roundabout here, so still let me know down in the comments. All right, so next, we don't have a lot of different assets to plop in regards to parks and gardens. And we don't even have a Park Life DLC like we used to in Cities Skylines 1. I mean, the game's still pretty new, so I'm not surprised by that. So I'm going to try something a little bit old school here, and we're going to place multiple of these parks down and try our best to create a little bit of, I guess, designated areas. So how do I know I want some playgrounds. I don't think a dog park is a bad idea, honestly. Campfire site might not be a horrible idea, though it doesn't really make sense. But yeah, so let's jump on in and let's actually just pop a couple of these down. Okay, that's a interesting little shape we got here, and a good amount of room for us to create our own garden beds. So yeah, I think I like how that's coming out so far. All right, so finally, I do actually want to create some of our own garden beds. So let's jump into a bit of a beautifying the build time lapse and kind of draw in some of our own areas here. Alrighty, so we also had a suggestion made by Neil to discuss some of the future plans that we have for the build, and I figured it was a good idea, especially because as it stands, it appears like we have multiple unfinished settlements. So my first plan is to start prioritizing some zoning with unlocking signature buildings as the priority in mind. I still want to get some of the high-density residential, commercial, and offices unlocked, so we will probably designate an upcoming episode to just zoning, but I think I'm going to do it around some of these areas that we just built. So like up here, maybe a little bit more here, just because I think it's going to have some nice height with it. I'm kind of excited now that we've built that all in. But yeah, definitely I want to get some of those signature buildings unlocked because we have all of these that we could still be adding into downtown Bunyan's Rest, as well as these three, and this this chunk right here. Next, I want to create a couple more low-density inspired suburbs, and honestly, for no other reason than I came up with some really fun names, and, well, also some population increase. So I think these spots here on the outskirts will be the future areas for Pine Grove and Hemlock Hollows. Now, even though we are going to be constructing 2 new suburbs, we will also be finishing up some of our current builds, namely Woodbine and Brayburn. I plan on these 2 being a little thicker density with some low to medium rise height. If there's a particular modular build you want to see in either of those cities, please just let me know down in the comments. Alrighty, everyone, so that wraps up today's episode and our first ever viewer suggested video. I hope you all enjoyed, as I look forward to making another one of these with everyone. And with that said, let me know in the comments if you have any ideas on what our next viewer suggested video will entail. And while you're down there commenting, consider giving the video a like and subscribing if you are new to the channel. Anyway, until next time, I hope everyone has a phenomenal week.